What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. So I wanted to go ahead and start a new series on the channel talking about the renovations that I'll be doing to my basement here in order to prep for and then get in place for mining. So I am going to be renovating this basement here over the next few months, and I will have a dedicated room to crypto mining. So let's go ahead and take a look at the basement. We'll talk about my plans. I'm going to show you guys a layout and blueprint of what we're going to be doing, and then we'll kind of head and dive into it. Before we do, I wanted to show you guys, check out this really cool Raven coin shirt. There'll actually be a link down below to the website. It is DogeLord.com. There's a direct link down below. If you're interested in any mining apparel, this one's my favorite that's on there. This is a shirt that has a boatload of different content creators in the mining space, Raven coin developers. So go ahead and take a look. You can actually see on this shirt, there's a handful of different people that you may recognize. Bits Be Trippin', Brandon Coin, Son of a Tech over here. Whole bunch of different people on here. Savage Mining. So go ahead and take a look. The link is directly down below if you're interested. Anyways, so talking about the basement. So here's my basement right now. I'll go ahead and make a quick rotation around here so you guys can see exactly the space we're working with. Sorry about the bright light. All right, so this is my gaming studio live streaming setup. I have a whole separate gaming Twitch channel that I do live streams on 3 days a week. There's a link down below if you're interested. So this area here, as you can see, I'm going to need an area for a studio and or an office. So I'm going to have an area in this basement, and I'll go over it with you guys. We'll go over the layout and the blueprint in a minute. That is dedicated to this. I'm then also going to have a server room, I'm going to call it, or a mining room in the basement, really, dedicated to crypto mining. My goal is to fill this rack, which will be a total of 3,700 watts, and do 4 racks in that room. We'll go over a little bit more details in a minute. That being said, it'll have a variety of this fun mining stuff, as well as a space in order to store a lot of this other hardware, additional graphics cards, supplies, and things along the way that we do have available to us. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the layout that we're going to have down here. So I'm going to go ahead and swap over to the computer. We'll go over a few things, and then we'll come back to the camera to go over kind of a few last items that I'd like to talk about when it comes down to electrical in the meantime. So I'll see you guys on the computer in just a second. Alrighty guys, so this is my handy dandy little homemade blueprint layout that I did go ahead and put together for this plan. So let's go over a little bit as to what you guys are seeing. So the room that you just saw there is everything you see in front of us. On the left hand side, you saw the HVAC system, you saw the sub pump, or I'm sorry, the water heater that's over there. You saw the window, you saw a door going outside. So let's go over a little bit about that. So on the left hand side here, we have the steps that you guys saw in the video, and you come down the steps. So I'm going to have an open area here for my family. It's going to have a TV hung on the wall with cabinets. It's going to have a couch available there. It's going to be straight laminate wood that will run through the open area of this basement. More interesting to you guys most likely is the mining stuff. So when we jump into this doorway here, we're going to go through a doorway. It's actually going to be a barn door on a track. We're going to go into a 6 foot by 13.5 foot room. It's a smaller room. That is going to be my office and studio. I work from home. Mining is not my full-time job. Content creation is not my full-time job. But I will have a space in there. My gaming rig will be there. My Unraid server will be in there. So that being said, there's another door, a smaller door. You go through the smaller door, and we are now into our mining room. I want to come up with a fun name for this room. So if you have any great ideas, let me know. So this room here will be totally different than, of course, the rest of the basement. So we're going to be wired up for 4 30 amp 240 volt. So that's going to give us a significant amount of power down here. Based off my calculations, we're going to need about 18,000 watts total in order to accomplish exactly what we're looking to do. So we need to keep with the rule of 80%. You know, you only are using 80% of that circuit. So that being said, that's about 2.5 240 volt 30 amps that we need. So of course, let's go the extra mile and do a full 4 in order to cover our bases to make sure we're safe. So we will be running 4 240 volt 30 amp circuits down here. I did meet with an electrician, a few of them this week. I did select one to go ahead and go forward with. They will be involved with this project in the near future. This mining room is 4.5 feet wide by 13.5 feet. I'm sorry, 13.5 feet wide by 4 feet deep. So to give you guys a little bit better idea, let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. So I did have someone out this past week, and I will be showing you guys some video footage of this and pictures in a future video. I had 2 holes put in the side of the house here that are 4 inches thick. And I will be going ahead and installing 2 vents. One vent that is going to be an exhaust for a floor standing AC unit that I did get my hands on. And the other vent that is in there is going to be a passive vent to allow fresh air into that room of the outside temperature. I've also gone ahead and done some research into the blue insulation board. So instead of doing insulation and also drywall in this room, there is a blue type of board, and you guys may know the technical terminology behind it. It is a blue board, significantly thicker than drywall, that is meant for indoor freezers almost, that I'm going to go ahead and use. So instead of doing insulation and drywall, we're going to use that to contain the temperature in that room, as well as use it for the ceiling in that room. The ceilings in the basement down here are 9 feet high. Finally, what we're going to do to help keep the cold, especially in the winter time here, because what happens is I'm in Pennsylvania and it gets really cold. Not as cold as like the Midwest and up north, I understand, but the ground stays very cold for a long time. So I am not going to do the floor in this room. It is going to stay the concrete slab, which holds the cold very, very well for long periods of time, well into the spring and into the summer. So I'm excited to get this done. Some things to keep in mind is currently right now in this basement, I only have a 15 amp and a 20 amp. So to get by for the next few months, I'm having an electrician come in, and I'm actually going to run the wire. I'll show you that cable and we'll talk more about it in a minute. But the last thing I wanted to show you guys was a sub panel. So we are going to be putting a sub panel in the basement so that we can run everything to the sub panel in the basement. I am actually going to run with somebody that is significantly more knowledgeable than me, run the additional electrical in the basement for your traditional 110 for the rest of it. And we're going to do all the wiring we can and bring it back to the sub panel, allow the electrician to go ahead and terminate it in order to keep it up to code. And then the electrician is going to do the entire mining room on his own without myself and the other individual helping out there. So anyways, let's jump back to the camera and talk a little bit more about this renovation and also a timeline. Alrighty guys, so we talked about the 2 vents that will be in our mining room here. These are the 2 items that we'll be using. Both of them have cages on the outside to keep birds out or any rodents. There is a flapper inside of here. Yeah, right there you can see it. There's a flapper inside of there. So the one flapper is going to be for the exhaust of this standalone AC unit. It's 14,000 BTU that we will be using in there. And we are going to be going ahead and using the dryer vent kit, which has, it's 4 inches wide is the way that this works. So that'll load up perfectly onto here. And then we have a 4-inch to 5-inch, I'm sorry, 5-inch to 4-inch adapter on it right now. So we will be installing that in the next week. So I'll go ahead and get you guys some pictures of that to show you. Now on the other one, which is the passive one, there is a flapper on that as well. I am going to keep the flapper on it, but pull it out and cut out a decent amount of the inside of that flapper, and I'm going to be installing a vent filter. So this is going to be used to keep out any moisture if it catches it, and or any really bugs or anything like that. So that's going to be for the passive intake. So that flap's always going to be closed because there's no air blowing out. So it will be completely closed with the vent filter in the middle of it, allowing air to freshly flow through it and into our room. Down here we have 10 by 2 250 foot Romex. This is actually rated for 40 amp. We're going to be using this for 30 amp. So I'm going to be using that short term, and then we're going to utilize that cable long term. So what we're going to do is, short term, I am going to run that cable myself up here and all along here, all along there, and over to the corner over there. And in that corner is where we're going to go ahead and go into the garage where my main panel is right now. And then the electrician's going to come out in 2 weeks and is going to give us a 30 amp 240 volt into our main panel now, and make that available right over here. And I'm going to put in a PDU that will make it available to us with the I believe it's the C13 or C19 to go into our power supplies here to keep us mining. I am maxed out right now. I can't add any more cards. I added this network switch down here, a bigger network switch, and it popped the breaker. So, and that is split between 2 different breakers, the 15 and the 20 amp. So I'm not adding any more graphics cards. So we've talked about it before, like I got these to add to that rack right now, and I'm going to be doing a future video on this 3060 that we have, but I can't add any more down here because I'm literally going to pop the breaker, and I want to stay safe. I'm already past that 80/20 mark down here the way we're running now, especially with all of this equipment here. So let's talk a little bit more about timeline. I just got in all of the steel today. It's 90 steel studs and 30 steel tracks. The studs are 9 feet tall and the tracks are 10 feet. So we'll be installing them in this basement here, going all the way around. So to give you guys an idea on perspective, we showed the steps coming down to the landing there. There was a TV that was going to go here. The door was going to go right through into here that you saw. And then once we're in this studio room, you're going to turn and there's going to be a door here that goes into this 4.5 foot by 13.5 foot room that we're having here. So super excited to get into that. We have a lot in store for not only the channel, but also for this unfinished basement. I work from home, as I talked about before, and I've been working from this unfinished basement prior to COVID, and my wife has been pushing to get this basement done. So I'm going to be doing a lot of this with friends of mine that are significantly more knowledgeable than I am. And then we are going to have some professional contractors come in when necessary to go ahead and get things done as needed. So if you guys are interested in following along with this journey of renovating the basement here, with building out our mining room, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with when I drop these. I'm excited to bring this series to you guys that will be updating you guys weekly on the renovations. My thought is, because I'm doing a lot of this myself, that it will end up taking about 3 to 6 months to fully complete. So this will be great content to update you guys on over the next several months and keep you guys in the loop. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you guys next time.